And for me, the idea would be to be linking it very directly to reading, whether students were reading this book as part of your program for them, or whether you as the teacher are reading it to them and then taking it into a learning situation, having scaffolded them by you reading it to them. Yeah. And yeah, no, go ahead. No one come back to what Sandra said.
Another interesting point. I'm a trained librarian.
Yes.
And often the books are printed overseas, and the person who's doing the front cover doesn't read the book, and sometimes you'll get a fiction novel that the front cover is nothing to do with.
Yes, yeah, I've got one here today, but that means we have to know our text, don't we? Yeah. And also, that's a good point, because we were discussing earlier about you can have some questions generated that are just not really going to go anywhere, and that happens occasionally, but we want to make sure that we're teaching students to be focused. If they've got a question that doesn't go anywhere, the reading will clarify that one way or another, but we don't want to be training them to be just saying that questions are anything unrelated to anything and just they're random and out there. And so only by looking at the front cover is not enough, is it? Relates to text selection, teachers knowing the text and their teaching point, but also students, text, this is a whole other topic, but students being good text selectors and actually selecting text on the basis of an informed approach and ways to do it. Now, what did you say that I wanted to pick up on? Oh, the concept of text might be something that many students don't have experience of, but isn't that our job?
Yes.
That's part of our job, yeah.
We don't expose them to it, but we'll have to teach it more explicitly.
Yes.
Before we could take that step back.
Mm.
And, well, getting the knowledge ready is fantastic because you can pull the vocab out before you start the text. So, you can do it, but it's taking that step back and not thinking that is something that they could.
Yes, yeah. And for me too, if we think about learning to read and the reading to learn stage, the reading to learn stage, we actually want students to be able to pick up a book on something they don't have direct experience of or background knowledge of and be able to read it and learn about it. I probably told you last time about the way I ever found out about the Taj Mahal was I read something. I think I was in about grade 3, 4, and I read something and I'd never heard about it, but I was quite fascinated. And when I think about it, probably my first exposure to anything medieval, Robin Hood maybe on television, and reading. And that's really the picture of where we want students to go, that they are reading to learn. They don't always have to have direct experience or a great deal of background knowledge, that they are proficient readers to learn, just like you are. Okay, now we've talked about before reading and students generating questions, the importance of it and why we might do it, and hopefully some ideas for how to go about it. But we want to also look at teacher generating questions before reading for 3 reasons. Student generated questions might mainly be at the literal level. This is the point that Deb was making to us earlier. We may only get, and we can train our students, either use STEMs or train them over time to be generating questions across the whole range of the taxonomy. However, one way to do that is teacher-generated questions before the reading, and there is a place for it because we can first of all generate questions that will direct the reading to important parts of what we want them to focus on. We said earlier that reading is also about, questioning is about focusing the reading on the important bits. The questions the teacher generates can focus students on what you know they need to focus on, be it an inferential section of the text that you want to pick up, or be it character development, or be it a spot to use a particular comprehension strategy, be it non-fiction or fiction. You can generate the questions to direct the reading. The other thing is you can be sure that your questions are across the range of the taxonomy. You might only be asking analytical questions with this particular group because that's matching your teaching purpose to that group. You might be asking inferential level questions because that's what this group needs. The other thing is too, teacher-generated questions, you can adjust the amount of questions. We're moving away in our thinking and practice from, oh, here's the reading and here's the obligatory 8 or 10 questions at the end. It was always 8 or 10, wasn't it? Why was that?
Small font.
And small font. And what, Flavia, what was that?
No, it wasn't. I think.
Sorry.
Time. Yeah, just
And,
the time.
and it feels time. Hello? Yes. Yeah, feels time. But we're moving away from that, and teacher-generated questions means you can choose the number of questions that suit the teaching purpose and suit the group and their stage of development. 2 deep questions that are going to generate close reading and conversation could be enough for this group. 4 questions across a range of different types of questioning could be the most supportive thing for this group. So you can choose the number for a particular reason. So we do want student-generated questions. We also want teacher-generated